doesn't get to save any weapons.
And what we saw yesterday for Copenhagen Wolves against NiP was it took real individual talent to shut down NiP.
Yeah.
It took an ace, it took rounds of 2 or 3 kills, and that was all they had. NiP have got that in abundance. They've got bags and bags of individual talent.
Yeah.
But what you see from VeryGames here, these methodical, no mistake kind of rounds, it's hard to play against. It's hard to find a round you maybe don't deserve.
Yeah. Plus, also, VeryGames have a ton of individual skill.
Yeah.
Arguably even more than NiP. I'm not sure if that's the case, but they're very, very even. I mean, Shox and Scream and Forest and GetRight are all, I would say those are the 4 best players in the world. Number you rank them in, that just depends day by day. Prior to this tournament, I would have said GetRight is definitely number 1. But so far here, I think Shox has actually been the best player in the world. His current form seems the best.
Bomb set to blow, and this save round set to come to an end. Freiburg unable to do any damage in the end.
And that's 4 straight round losses.
Ooh,
actually not unable. Gets 2 kills there at the very end as VeryGames let their guard down. 4 straight rounds for VeryGames. And we actually see Freiburg opping now, unless he's just dropping it to Fiflaren. I thought that was a little odd, but yeah, another gun round once again. NiP with full equipment, but they're also going to be broke if they lose this round. So they really can't afford to keep losing rounds in a row. They need to get some of their own now.
On board with Fiflaren, who we need to see something from here. NiP need him to set the tone, to lock down one site or to create an opening for the team, because the way VeryGames are playing this methodical play is cutting them apart when it's even Stevens. So let's see whether Fiflaren can be the disruptor for NiP. As
looks like Smith is going to try to pick Fiflaren here in Catwalk. We'll see who gets the better of this duo.
Oh!
And it's Fiflaren who takes off the head of Smiths.
Fiflaren gets himself a big hit onto Smiths, and NiP have what they needed. They are going to quickly follow up through Catwalk. In fact, actually, Bomb reverses around the back, and they are positioned with 1 on long A, but there are 2 Swedes in the pit. If they were to push in there, it would be potentially catastrophic.
Very well might be. NBK, however, and actually that's a very interesting setup by NiP. If you look at the people in the pit, we see Exist just hiding in the back, GetRight peeking. So they're actually baiting for Exist to get all the kills after GetRight dies.
Existence pushes in. There's Fiflaren. Flashed has to duck away as he goes looking for another one. There's a Molotov coming his way as he falls back and it's picked off by Existence. Scream gets himself the frag onto Forest, and nice work from VeryGames. They created an opening for themselves here as Scream looks for frag number 3, gets it, and now the T's are going to pick it up with Shox dropping Exist, and VeryGames almost set up to fail with that push, but just powered their way out of it.
They did, and that was a very well-timed flank. Nice shot, I guess, says GetRight. That was a very well-timed flank by Scream, who came out of the middle doors as Forrest was trying to rotate from the B bomb site, took him out as, I believe we were going to say, oh, that was the second kill. And then after that, took out Freiburg as well. So 2 nice rotations there, 2 nice kills on the rotators by Scream. And NiP on a weak buy, 5 FAMASes with 3 defenders in the B bomb site. And they're now making an adjustment. They're taking a risk. We'll see if they're going to be able to take out Scream here in the tunnels.
Scream gets frag number 1, follows it up. Here's his hat-trick, surely. Oh, there's one more. And just as he had to reload, he just fire into that smoke. Does a bit of damage. May well get himself the kill. Has taken damage of his own and quickly steals an opponent's grenade and tosses it back in their direction. Fiflaren rotates up towards B because they don't have any idea where the French are. They've just seen deaths at B and thought there was incoming.
And Exist also down to 7 health. So that was just really devastating by Scream there. 2 headshots, almost kill a 3rd guy. And now NiP just have to do something. They have to stack an area, hope one of their players can get a triple kill, make something happen. And if VeryGames plays this round correctly, in the sense that they go scouting out places and don't just attack the bomb spot with 3 NiP players in it, there should be no way for them to lose this round. And we'll just see if they have the patience to play this round correctly despite being up in a damn near 5v2 situation.
VeryGames and patience go together well. GetRight and his FAMAS are going to have to hold down the A site because coming over the catwalk, the Frenchman as Exist is going to fire off. Smiths gets himself frag number 1. It's all on Exist. He can't pick it up. NBK drops him, and now Fiflaren is going to have to go it all on his own. Goes for the first frag, gets it, now has 4 more to DreamHack. And Smith picks him off. VeryGames, pat on the back. They are 8-4 up.
6 straight rounds for VeryGames, and that actually has to be somewhat disappointing for NiP, knowing they made the right move. They stacked the A-bomb site. VeryGames walked right into them, and they still weren't able to get any kills. And that just shows the kind of form VeryGames are in right now. They're just playing almost perfect Counter-Strike.
Well, it was a 5-on-3.
Ever since those... Yeah, I know. But, I mean, even though they walked right into NiP's stack, they still left the Swedes no chance. And NiP are going to be on a save run once again, as VeryGames look to extend their winning streak. They've now won 6 straight rounds. And by the way, the once again started from that double 2 kills from, I believe it was NBK and Shox in B.
Yeah.
So just one big round, and it can all turn around.
Did anyone say momentum? Smith in the middle with his AWP. Existence will help him out and gets himself the frag onto Forest. Get right. Waiting to see some action. And for NiP, there. This is actually, ignore NiP. This is what VeryGames haven't put a foot wrong in the respect that they haven't rushed anywhere.
No.
They haven't made a single uncalculated decision. Every decision is made kind of statistically.
Yes.
We've seen this information, thus, based off that, this is where we're going to go.
We saw Existence take one risk that one time when he took Catwalk really quickly, and he overextended himself just a little bit, far enough that VeryGames was able to take him out. And since then, just no mistakes from VeryGames.
And as an offensive side, that's how you've got to do it.
As VeryGames goes through the double doors there in the middle to take over the B bomb site. Last 2 counter-terrorists left arrive of VeryGames and Exist, who are still around the A bomb site. And VeryGames will get the bomb planted here in B, and that's going to be another round for the Swedes, who will now have lost 7 rounds in a row. They're trailing 4-9, but it's important to point out that this is by no means over. Dust 2 is a very terrorist-heavy map. In fact, VeryGames very well might have been hoping for more than 11 rounds, in the sense that if you offered them an 11-4 half, they might have said, nah, we'd rather just play it and see if we can get more.
Well, we'll see. We've got 2 AWPs coming in for NiP this time, and an auto sniper. They've rolled the hard 6, and we'll see whether they can
looks
get
like
it.
the crowd is. Crowd's getting into it. Now, okay, now VeryGames has to hear this. There's no way VeryGames doesn't hear this.
There's no way they can't. And there's Shox silencing the crowd with the frag onto Forest. VeryGames going to peek up through the catwalk. No one in middle for him to see.
He actually silenced the crowd. A lot of the time people say that doesn't happen. The crowd's gone. That's incredible.
Forest out, 5-on-4. NiP need a break here. They need something to go their way. And it just hasn't happened thus far. VeryGames down and towards those B tunnels. Flash is coming in as Shox pushes out, and he'll just lie and wait. They've got 3 just waiting at the back end mid. VeryGames long gone from that position. He's rotated all the way back up a catwalk. And they have no eyes, no ears on the VeryGames side, who just wait. And they're going to make a quick push into B, but then they'll slide through the middle once more, as they've done already successfully this game. It's get right to watch that angle. Freiburg's going to see some action, and as they make their way, in fact,
VeryGames is going to be the first person. Oh, no, nice shot by Existence. That's a very good headshot on VeryGames, who was playing that spot where he was able to get an entry kill earlier on. Another crazy headshot there by Shox, and that's going to be another round for VeryGames. And right now, NiP are just getting murdered.
What can you do as NiP? I mean, VeryGames, he did get the first shot. Had he hit that shot, it might have been a different round. But Exist didn't stand a chance.
I actually think what NiP needs to do is what they already did. Remember that round where they pushed B tunnels with 3 FAMASes? I think what they should have done is just waited until they have proper equipment, good guns and everything, instead of doing that on a weak buy. And they need to take risks, calculated risks as a team.
Get right, delivering 2 big frags for NiP, making this expensive. Freiburg's going to try and add to the pain. But by no means are they going to drain that bank. Shox drops Freiburg and will in the end go down. And so little have the NiP crowd had to cheer about. They're literally cheering Get Right's 4 frags because on a round loss.
Yep.
It's 10-4, last round of the half. NiP need a miracle.
Yeah, they do. So what I was getting at is what NiP is doing, their normal gaming style, is just not working here. VeryGames have it figured out. They won 8 straight rounds, so now what NiP needs to do is take risks. Don't do what you've been doing because it's not working. Do something else.
Scream and his auto sniper rattle off shots down towards the double doors. You see one CT waiting to make the crossover, and he does. There are 4 players firing down to him in the end. And it was, I think, Forrest who made the move. Lost 31 health for his trouble as well. And
by the way, Forrest was 6-1 3 rounds in. So he really has been just shut down ever since then. Though, to his credit, he's the reason NiP got 3 rounds to begin with.
quiet game from many on that NiP side. But, as Lupus would stress, Fifth Flower gets the entry frag. MBK goes down. NiP with an opening finally, but a weak weapon output here from them as well. So still slight advantage VeryGames as the NiP side will look for the second frag. It'll be Fifth Flower to quickly rotate actually around towards the double doors. Good, quick positioning move, and Get Right gets himself the next. Existent goes down. Both Smith and Fifth Flower miss their shots on one another in mid, but it's a 2-man advantage to NiP here. Forrest falls back, and NiP know that with that stat, with that many numbers, they can just wait. And Forrest and Freiburg going to see action coming in towards the B site right now. Freiburg pings in the nade towards the B tunnels, and they walk into a slaughter as NiP get themselves the 5th round, and it is 10-5.
And that's actually a solid half for the counter-terrorist side of Dust 2. 5 rounds is not a bad score. Now, when you take the context in that NiP were up 3-0 to start the half, all of a sudden doesn't look that impressive, does it? Going 2-10 in the last 12 rounds of the half, but in the big picture, 5 rounds is good. NiP had a lot of struggles on Dust 2 against the LGB Esports. That was the one map they dropped so far in this tournament. I believe they got 12 or 11 rounds on the terrorist side, and they wound up losing. So their terrorist side is very good. It might easily be good enough to get 11 rounds, especially if they win the pistol round, in which case I would actually say they're slight favorites all of a sudden in this map. But
how quickly things can change. We were talking about a slaughter moments ago. Now, from VeryGames' perspective, though...
Well, just to jump in a little bit, it's been slaughter for the last 12 rounds. But, I mean, overall, it's not a slaughter because, like I said, even 5 rounds, 4 rounds, it can be enough on Dust 2 because it's such a terrorist-sided map. But, I mean, they were getting slaughtered there from 4-2 on.
Now, if we look at the scoreboard, Get Right 12 frags, Forest 10, Freiburg 10, then Fifth Flower and Exist. Very quiet half.
Yeah, not a lot to be done there. But even if we look at VeryGames' scores, they have very low frag totals just because NiP were saving weapons so much. So not a lot of fragging going on. And VeryGames players had big rounds. We saw Shocks get a couple double kills. Smits had that 4 kill that opened up VeryGames winning in this half. NBK put in that double. Scream had the double on the rotators. So big plays by people, but it's just not adding up to a lot of frag totals because everybody's just playing smart. People are saving weapons. They're not going for rounds they shouldn't be going for. So just smart play by both teams. 10-5 is just about the best score to have an exciting second half too. So things are looking great here as we're just couple seconds in from going into the second half of the first map here.
If I look down at the NiP side, you can see a little bit of kind of very small halftime hustle there.
Yeah.
Just make sure the spirits are high, they're ready to go, and we'll see whether they can do it. Over at VeryGames, can't see as much of the VeryGames side, unfortunately. There's a big wall in front of me. Yeah. So we'll see. VeryGames calm and collected, and the local crowd get chanting for NiP once more. And 10-5, the halftime score. Here we go. It's the semi-final, second half of map 1. VeryGames versus NiP. And the Frenchmen have a 5-round lead to defend and extend. Freiburg walking up the catwalk. It's MBK that's waiting around the corner for him. And MBK chops his head off. That's an assault right there. Charging through the smoke, picks it off. And that was not what NiP asked for. They're now ready to make the rest of their push in towards B. Forrest drops Smiths. That's more like it for the Swedes as they make their way in towards the site. Fifth Flower's got himself a frag onto Scream as well. And NiP should just about have this now. They haven't been able to make the bomb, allow the crossover. And here it is now. Bomb on the back of Fifth Flower. He'll try and get it in towards that site. He does. Existent did a lot of damage, but is all on his lonesome. MBK slowly making his way around the B tunnels, but wasn't quick enough. And instead of being a sandwich, it was kind of one of those lopsided Belgian no-top sandwiches as they push in around the side. And MBK's 1-on-4 instead of it being a 2-on-4 fight.
Yeah, and once again, Forrest chiming in with 3 kills. Another very strong pistol round by who many would consider the best pistol round player on the planet. I do think he is #1 in the HLTV statistics database for pistol rounds. So Forrest has always been very good at those. And I mean, 2 triple kills here. He's basically, oh, a nice headshot by NBK there. I mean, he's basically just given NiP 6 rounds in this match all by himself.
Got a third kill for NBK in the
by
end.
Getting those 6 kills on the pistol rounds. Not every frag is worth the same.
Touché. NiP win their second pistol round. Last time they successfully converted it, and here it's going to count double if they can suddenly nullify all of the momentum that the VeryGames side had.
So let's see what VeryGames can do here. They've been very, very dangerous on these second round buys. Early damage on Exist down to 9 health. Get right down to 25. So it's not a free round for NiP by any means. VeryGames are still fighting for it.
VeryGames peeking in all shapes and sizes to try and get an idea as to where those NiP players were going to come from. Have not been able to spy either player. Scream, the player you highlighted yesterday as being a pistol round player, is out.
Yeah, but he did do a lot of damage. He did get right down to 25, Exist down to 9, so he's done his job. Now it's up to people like Shocks, who are the cleaners, the finishers of the rounds, to get some work done.
Shocks is going to see some action here as Freiburg edges towards him. Forrest is with him, and there is Shocks. Not for long. Forrest picks him off, and we're at a 2-man advantage for NiP here. And Fifth Laren will go looking for more, and he gets it. Existence did get a frag onto Exist, but only 1 frag for the VeryGames side, and NiP 3 straight rounds now. Make that 10-7, and the scoreboard looking a lot closer.
Yeah, it certainly is. Assuming VeryGames lose this round, which they should. I mean, they're in a save round, full save round this time around. NiP will be within 2, and all of a sudden, one more round win, which would be the 4th round, the first weapon round of the second half, would tie the game at 10, and then NiP would be fairly sizable favorites all of a sudden, because this is a very terrorist-sided map.
Get right into B tunnels. There's a inkling that Scream's there. Scream gets himself a frag. It's Get Right that's out. Exist does finally stop the ROP, but damage done. And we'll see what NiP can do. They'll be, the VeryGames side be more than happy with a trade to take someone like Get Right out of this game. Did cost them Scream though. Shocks is in that B side as a replacement. Smith's up at A. He is likely to see some action as the bombs on the back of Forrest here. Makes his way up, does force him to drop back, and we'll see Forrest now in towards that site as he has 2 players and he needs reinforcements, and they're slow to come. He will get mullered, and NBK decides he's going to fall back for an exit. And, you know, we haven't seen in all the save rounds, we've not seen any side really push or stack one site, with that one exception of that famous round from NiP. And in that instance, stacking a site may have given the VeryGames side a little bit more of a chance to make a fight of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think what the teams are probably afraid of is the other team being so good at scouting the other side that they couldn't fake it anyways. But, I mean, VeryGames have such good pistol round players. We've seen Scream do so much damage on these 2 save rounds that maybe they just think they don't need to do it. All they need is a couple entries by themselves as Shocks picks up a frag there, and he is going to try to save this AK.
It isn't going to be able to.
Won't going to happen, though, as Forrest just jumps up, just mid-air headshot, takes him out. That's 8-10. Still in favor of VeryGames, but NiP now in the driver's seat.
This gun round absolutely vital. That's the opening frag there. Cost Get Right his round as he had to sit out and watch, but big time here. NiP clawed their way back with 4 straight rounds down from what was a 10-4 scoreline. One of those being a pistol, but this is the first CT buy round of this second half, and we'll see what the VeryGames are made of.
And because Dust 2 CT is such a hard side, you can't really expect to outplay your opponent this half. You really need your individual players to put in rounds that are like just putting multi-kill rounds and get you those rounds. There's really no other way to consistently win on a map, on a half like this. So we'll see if VeryGames players can do the same thing they did in the first half. I mean, with weapons, they've been far better than NiP so far, considering NiP has only won about maybe 3 weapon rounds, and everything else has been save rounds. Actually, yeah, 3 weapon rounds is what they've won.
VeryGames retreat in towards that A site where NiP are stacked to come A-long and catwalk. Get Right opens up the fragging with 1. Forrest has the second frag. Shocks did in the meantime take down 1, but Freiburg will continue the route. as NiP just make the crossover. Freiburg will get up towards that site where the bomb is going to go in. It's Existence that's going to come from CT Spawn, and VeryGames are going to contest this. They don't want to let NiP race into a lead, but it won't happen for them as Forest gets himself the frag onto Smith, and Existence in the end must retreat. It will be 10-9.
Yep, 10-9. Still in favor of VeryGames, but the Frenchman will have to save next round, although they're hoping Existence will be able to save his weapon, and they'll actually have a chance to do something there. But it is going to have to be a save. Save by VeryGames, and that should tie the game for NiP. And all of a sudden, NiP are looking very strong here.
They've certainly got the wind in their sails. Existence managed to get away. Slowly see Forest coming into view. He's got player to his left and his right here, but Existence will just get there and actually does get himself a kill.
And looks like GetRight has once again been disconnected from the server. Not really sure what is going on there.
GetRight and Forest's entry into A was crucial.
Yeah.
It was a 2-on-1. That exchange wiped out the A defense, and the quick hop over from Freiburg, which left him with 3 HP. Wasn't that easy for him, but from that position, NiP were unassailable, and it was only Smith that died there afterwards. We've lost GetRight on the server, and we're just spotting actually a Swedish flag that's been proudly placed.
Yeah, it's been hung right behind them.
Just for the documentary crew to see as well.
Yeah, just neatly there.
Just in case they didn't know in the Swedish documentary where NiP are from.
Just in case.
So, from this position, you were talking about it being a T-favored map.
Yes.
We need to see some big individual plays.
Yes.
By the time we have guns back on CT side, NiP should be, by all rights, in the lead.
Yes. Tied.
Yes.
Yes.
And from there, who's it going to be? Do you change your tactics up? At the moment, we're seeing a kind of a standard 2-3 split. Do you change up and go and mix, go very VeryGames like? VeryGames very methodical at that point. Do they try and stack one site? Do they try and rush? What do they do to mix this up?
I think it's still too early. I mean, they've only lost one weapon round so far. So you want to give your own playing style, the one you're used to, and you have the most routine on. You want to give it a chance. So you're probably going to play a couple more weapon rounds. If NiP gets to something around 13 rounds, that's when you take a risk, because then you need to mix your things up. But, I mean, that round just was, like you said, Forest and GetRight were the ones getting those entry kills for NiP. Now, next round, there's a good chance someone from VeryGames will do the same, and all of a sudden, it looks completely different. So there's just so many things that can happen. I mean, you can win as a team. You can just get so much help from one single individual player. And so far, it's been mostly the latter, I would say, in the second half. Forest especially has won so many rounds for NiP in this match.
Just taking a look down at the NiP side, quick exchange of conversation between Forest and Freiburg here on the near side to us. Looks like they're ready to start this one back up.
Yep, GetRight is back in the game.
We are going to see this one through. GetRight, who's had innumerable PC problems, kind of followed him around as we are live and underway once more. VeryGames on a save. They have that M4 from Existence, which they could use to try and open it up. Well, how would you play this with that M4? What would you do to utilize it?
Well, I mean, you just take a risk. You try to go for a pick somewhere, or you just overstack a site where you try to bait. You try to bait the terrorists to come in by only showing the pistol rounds and then having Existence hide somewhere.
He sat up at A. He's sat back so that well, you would see the entry frag there, but Freiburg's into the double doors now as NiP look through mid. Forest is going to make his way up towards Catwalk. MBK is there and is quite recessed in his position. No commitment on the bomb at the moment. That's all the way back near double doors as it'll be picked up now by VeryGames, who will slowly move it towards the Catwalk, and NiP ready to make their entry in towards the A site.
Forest leading the way here, just slowly scouting the site. And right now we do have Existence hiding here, but he's been spotted. Now NiP know the weapon is there, and Existence is going to need some help from his teammates.
Existence flashed out, dropped down, and VeryGames are going to struggle to get anything out of this one from here. The second frag onto MBK, who was down by Spawn, trying to jump up, has been had, and VeryGames are going to rotate 2 players up along this catwalk here, but they're walking into a very, very unpleasant scenario,
nice,
which they make very pleasant for themselves. 2 big frags. It's Scream and Smiths who get them, and they follow up with a third. GetRight down and out, and suddenly it's 2 on 3. They've got Smith to get himself another one onto Freiburg. That is unbelievable. They won't be able to get the defuse, but they are going to toss some weapons out and have a party of their own. And, well, Shocks down on long A was able to get one frag. And in fact, almost got himself that last frag onto Forest.
So NiP lost all their weapons, and VeryGames were able to save 2 AKs. That's a very, very good save round for VeryGames. And, you know, those are the kind of rounds that can really shift the momentum. This is really big for how the match is going to turn out. We'll see what VeryGames is able to do here, as Existence has bought an auto sniper.
Big round for Existence here. He has to deliver with that.
And he's actually been very good at it, similar to how GetRight uses it on this half, or Exist on Inferno CT side. We'll see what NiP chooses to do here. And like I said, a monumental round.
3 had pushed down long A. They haven't, because of that grenade, they've had to fall Existence back. They're going to try and get it back into position. MBK will be the one to help him out there. Freiburg's in on B here. Gets himself frag number 1! And Freiburg and Fifth Laren combined! And VeryGames are running out of players very quickly here. Fifth Laren gets himself the frag. Existence and that auto sniper do get a kill, but it comes at the expense of 93 health points. And there is the CS crowd for NiP. And I say for NiP because we've not heard a single cheer for VeryGames from those guys. Bomb planted. Freiburg goes looking for that auto sniper!
What a nice headshot by Freiburg. And that was just a very dominant round win for NiP. I mean, they just look so happy right now. You see Freiburg smiling from here to the right side of the NiP team, and they have reason to be happy. Things are looking very good for NiP on the opening map here.
This was the position. Freiburg and GetRight in that B tunnel. Oh, yes, it was mirrored by a quick frag on long A, but from that point on, they had control of the map. And we'll see whether the VeryGames have got much to offer in their defense here. We have an AWP with Smiths.
And last round we saw VeryGames go for an aggressive push. They took a risk, a calculated risk. It didn't pay off at all. GetRight was able to get that first kill in the B tunnels. Freiburg followed it up with 2 of his own. And right now it looks like they've fallen back to a more of a standard setup here, just by playing passive around the map and trying to hold off the NiP attackers.
What was unlike VeryGames to push forward, and we talked about it in the break prior. When was the time to do it? They did it quite early.
They did, indeed. And sometimes that's good, because NiP likely won't expect it as much, but, you know, GetRight was ready for that, and that first kill in the B tunnels just completely set the tone for that round.
On board with Existence and his FAMAS. As MBK coming around as well, as the VeryGames side have 2 on the catwalk, bombs with him as well. They'll back it up with a 4th player, that's Fifth Laren, that'll join the fun. And there's the opening frag, and it's come for MBK. He's waiting for more. He doesn't like what comes around that corner, though, as Exist drops his head. And Forest is now going to try and stop anyone from making the jump over. The smoke will allow more players to get in towards that site. And Forest has got 3 Frenchmen firing back at him. It's Scream who gets him. Exist checks his back on the catwalk. He has got reinforcements. I think it's Fifth Laren that's with him. And GetRight from long A opens up, gets the first frag. Scream shuts him down. It's a 2-on-2 here. Fifth Laren has got himself 1 and 2. And that is going to be that, unless Smith can do something about it. Fifth Laren opens up 3 big frags. And NiP deliver.
That was a nice flank by GetRight there. He waited for the longest time in the long A tunnels, and when finally even Shoxy rotated to help his teammates on top of A, GetRight came out. He only got 1 kill, but that made Scream turn around, allowed Fifth Laren and whoever else was on top of A from NiP to get much closer to Rail, and Smits was just so outmatched with his op.
12-10. This now an NiP map to lose.
It is indeed. Actually has been for 2 rounds already, but I mean, VeryGames just struggling so much so far in the second half. NiP up 7-0.
Yeah, if you put it into that perspective, it's painful reading for VeryGames. Their T side has been limp.
To be fair, NiP hadn't won many more rounds by this point in their opening half if we discount the pistol round. GetRight gets the opening frag once again on a pushing Scream. Smits is going to go for the peek here. See if he's going to be able to take out GetRight.
GetRight dispatches of Smith like he's dispatched of so many in this game. MBK is putting up a resistance here. As, he gets himself a frag onto Forest. He's got 2 players going to cross over and make their way over towards the A side. It's Freiburg that leads that assault. Freiburg takes a look in towards A. There's actually no one there. The players at MBK coming underneath him. as Exist will go for it. Exist drops MBK, and VeryGames have a real mountain now. 4-on-2 with only Forest down. Existence and Shocks can't do this. We've seen them. They've got the talent. But it's going to... We're calling on them to deliver right now because VeryGames are staring into the abyss at the moment. It's Shocks coming up from A-Long. Shocks down coming up from A-Long. Existence picks up number 1. Can't go any further.